All right. Good, good day, everyone. Good morning for some, afternoon for others. So I'll say good day, everyone. Hope you can hear me. So my name is Austin Manjala. I take care of Microsoft solutions for Brightpoint Infotech. We have a team, our inside team that is running a live video feed. So for those who can hear me, hello. For those who can see me, hello. And I'm joined with quite a number of my colleagues who I'll let them introduce themselves in due time. So we are Brightpoint Infotech, and today we are going to have a conversation about Microsoft, and we also going to have a conversation around how some of your challenges, your day-to-day challenges, can be addressed by the Microsoft solutions that are available. And we get to see some of the good things that we have in store for you guys. So allow me to just extend a few more minutes for most of or some of our other invitees to join us. So we can give them a couple of minutes, let's say 2 or 3 minutes, and then we can get started. So thank you. All right. So I think you can get started. Please just by let's say a wave of hand or a thumbs up. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. For those who can see my colleagues Angela's screen, please if you can give us a wave that you can hear us and hear us, that would be awesome. So I'll simply introduce myself again. My name is Austin. I take care of sales for a Microsoft partner company here in Nairobi called Brightpoint Infotech. And we basically do Microsoft solutions. And today I'm joined by a vast team of ours that I'll let them introduce themselves in due course. But just for the sake of alignment, allow me to just quickly go over the showcase to you today. So I don't know if you can see the agenda. Can you see the agenda? Yes. So I hope you can see the agenda. So we'll basically just do some polls. So our team led by Angela will be doing that. If you can see the polls already, or if you can access the polls, please just give us a uh, short brief or a brief overview of some of the questions that we are asking that will allow us to better understand what your requirements are around and help us guide us to the relevant solutions or the relevant conversations that you'd like to hear us talk about. But we have prepared something for us today that we're going to talk about. But before we get to that, allow me to just take you through what we had prepared. And what we prepared is essentially we want to understand what nonprofits are facing today, especially you guys that have made the time to listen to us today. What you guys are facing, what challenges are plaguing you guys. You've tried some solutions, what is not working, what is working. We want to have an open conversation with you around that. And then, since we are here courtesy of Microsoft, we are going to discuss or see how Microsoft is able to address some of these challenges. Of course, there's no one size fits all with Microsoft. So it's very important for us to have a conversation around what your challenges are, what have you done about some of these challenges, and then, of course, how can we, powered by Microsoft, come in to address some of these challenges. Then we also have something that we we think would be very useful for you guys, which is essentially to hear from a fellow nonprofit organization to hear how this implementation journey was like, what are some of the challenges that they were seeking to address, how they addressed some of these challenges, and what their story right now looks like. And then, of course, we will wrap it up with a session just to go over some of the benefits that Microsoft extends to nonprofits such as yourselves. Of course, there's eligibility criteria around that, but we'll get to go through some of these benefits in terms of, at this point, let's call them benefits. That you guys have in store for you as nonprofit organizations. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have a live QA through the board that my colleague Angela is running. And then we are also recording the session for those of you with perhaps some team members of yours that will not be able to join us. We will be sharing this recording with you. We'll be sharing some of the resources that we have in plan for to showcase to you today. We'll be sharing that after the session. And then, of course, the polls I've mentioned. So the QA is really, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop the questions on the chat, and one of my colleagues or we will get to address it. So sounds good. I think we can get our bus rolling here. And I'll start by a brief introduction of who Brightpoint Infotech is. So we are a Microsoft partner company, what in the previous classifications used to be known as gold partnerships, but nowadays it's called solution specialization. So we have managed to get ourselves accredited by Microsoft for 5 different solution specializations, but that's just an accreditation for Microsoft, but it speaks to our work that we do a very good job, and we have over 300 projects delivered worldwide. That includes 130 implementations. These are running across our head office in the US and our regional offices around Canada, the Middle East in Dubai, and then the Kenya office, which serves the African market, and then we have an office in India. We've managed to do implementations, be it new implementations, be it upgrade implementations, be it rescue implementations, and then of course support implementations. Allow me to draw your attention to a particular achievement that it's on your screen. Sorry about that. It's on your screen right now. The middle achievement, which is the partner of the year as a finalist. So that achievement pertains to the non-profit sector. So Brightpoint Infotech was recognized last year as the partner of the year for serving, having solutions catering to non-profit organizations such as yourselves here. So that just goes towards our credibility in the market. And moving forward, this is just a bit more information about who we are, some of the specializations that I've mentioned before. So we have the 5 specializations. If you look at the bottom right corner of your screen, you will see we are accredited by Microsoft as a business applications solutions partner. That's the core of what we'll be discussing here today, because it pertains to the business application side of the organizations. These are your finance systems, these are your CRM systems, and we have a specialization for Microsoft for that. And then after we've implemented some of these applications, some of these services for customers, we have an accreditation or an achievement from Microsoft for support services. We have a specialization for digital and app innovation Azure that essentially just speaks around some of the new and cutting edge solutions that Microsoft is bringing into the market. Solutions like the power platform, so your Power Automate, and so that specialization speaks to that. And then, of course, we have the 2 other that are at the bottom: data and AI. Then, of course, infrastructure. So we are a through and through. We are a Microsoft through and through house. If you have a request, if you have a clarification, if you have a requirement around some Microsoft solutions, please feel free to drop us a chat, and we will surely get to it, and we'll surely get to address what these clarifications or requests are. So I mentioned we have just a moment. So we have clients across the regions, clients across different sectors. What you're seeing right now on your screen mentions clients across NGOs. So we have clients across NGOs, higher education, social enterprises, and the rest. So I hope that gives you guys a clear picture of who we are, some of the work of what we do within the Microsoft ecosystem. And we now get to the section where we would like to run the polls. I don't know, Angela, if you're ready. You should be seeing the poll screen on your end. Please feel free to let us know where your organization lies, or where your interest lies according to the polls that we are running. I'll quickly go over the next phase, or we can give a couple of minutes so that you can just let us know where your interest lies according to our polls. But remember, you can still do as a chat, drop as a chat if you have any questions, if you have any requests for a clarification that you'd like us to address, and we'll surely get to it. So I don't know, Angela, the polls will be running if I proceed, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So Allow me to proceed to the next slide, which is the matter at hand. So we talk to nonprofits day in, day out in our business operations, in our day-to-day, we talk to organizations such as yourselves. And what we keep hearing over and over again is we don't have a unified system that can allow us to, first of all, unify our operations, that can allow us to get a grip of our data, get a grip of our operations for the sake of monitoring and evaluation. And this is something that we faced with customers time and time again. So we have fragmented solutions, guys that are working on a separate financial system. On one hand, let's say there's another system that helps manage the donors, helps manage the grants or the grant application processes, or you can either have different systems or you can have guys that are completely doing these processes manually. So these are some of the challenges that we've seen from our side. Of course, we'll be happy to hear from you guys what are your challenges. Fragmented systems, of course, that comes with its own challenges around reporting. So either you have limited visibility, you have guys that have to do the reporting, they have to do that process manually. So you have the month-end closures, prolonging the month-end closures, taking a lot of time to basically give simple reports. And then, of course, this exposes the organizations to various challenges, including errors in the reporting, errors in the data entry, and all sorts of challenges around that. Then, of course, you guys, you are heavily you exist in an environment where compliance to, let's say, a particular set of donor requirements, a particular set of donor stipulations are very critical. So some of these challenges just expound on top of each other, and you find yourself in a situation where there's no transparency, you're not meeting the donor expectations, you're running projects that you cannot provide evidence that the impact is what the donor was looking for. You have funds, misallocations of funds, and all manner of challenges and downsides of running an environment like this. So this is the landscape that we've seen. This is the landscape that some of our customers, before they moved to the solution that we are going to talk about today, were experiencing. Let us know if this is the same challenges, if these are the same scenarios that you've seen around the organization. If this is something that you would like to talk to us about, we'll surely give some bit of time just to talk about what your specific challenge is, what can we do about it, what are the solutions in the market, what are the cost-effective solutions that are in the market that can address some of these challenges. So before we go to the solution, so some of these challenges, of course, they can be solved with the help of the digital tools or the digital solutions that we have in place, and we are going to see that shortly. But some of them require a shift in the way some of these organizations look at some of these processes, because at the end of the day, the solution only comes to help you achieve your missions. So we are going to have a look at Dynamics 365 Business Central. We will start with the programs management, just to understand how you can keep track of your programs, how you can keep track of your donors, how you can keep track of your grant. and then we'll fade into the other section where you dynamics, how can dynamics help you guys um, change or improve the way you look at some of the back office operations like finance, procurement, and the rest. So I'll quickly hand over the session to Sam. Sam, if you can hear us, please just take it away. But remember, for the sake of understanding and the sake of alignment, we have picked a sample of the challenges that we see day in, day out, and we are going to showcase to you how some of these challenges can be addressed within Dynamics 365 solution. Please feel free to interject. Feel free to raise a question, raise a hand if you have any sort of clarification that you'd like us to address. So over to you, Sam.
Thank you, Austin. Welcome everybody to today's session. Just to introduce myself, my name is Samuel Mboro. I'm a functional consultant at Brightpoint. I'll be taking you through this session. So let me just share my screen. I hope you're able to see it. So I think as Austin has taken you through Business Central. So just before I head into grants process, I would like just to highlight a few general features about Business Central, which will apply to maybe all the departments. So first of all, it's a Microsoft system. So that means you get to enjoy features that happen within the standard Microsoft ecosystem. So, for example, you're able to get standard features like exporting to Excel. So, you're able to open Excel and it will open in Excel automatically. So, you're able to have features like you're able to have analysis mode. So, what analysis mode does is that you're able to do your pivot tables within the system. You're also able to benefit from Copilot. So you're able to benefit from some aspect of AI, whereby you're able to ask questions, ask for guides, find lookup. So these are some of the things that you're able to benefit from within the Microsoft ecosystem. So it's also a multiple role system. As Austin has mentioned, that you're able to use it across various departments. So that means that every user is able to get a specific dashboard that is relevant to them. So they're able to, for example, if it's grant management, if it's HR, if it's finance, you're able to get a specific role center that is able to suit what you are doing. So it's also a multi-currency system, so it supports various currencies. So whether you're working with USD, Kenya shillings, or any other currency, it's able to support the local currency and any other currency that you may be using with the applicable exchange rates. It's also a multi-company system, so able to have as many companies as possible within a single environment, which means that you can do intercompany and consolidation. So for grants, I'll be able to take you through 4 components. So the grant lifecycle process. So I'm able to show you how the module will be able to help you with that. I'll take you through how to create, how the log frames are created in the system. Be able to do your meal processes, your monitoring, evaluation, and learning, and accountability, and also a sample of the reports that the system is able to offer you. So for example, on my dashboard, you can see this role is for grants and projects. So I'm able to see things which are applicable to my specific area of operation. So able to see what is your pipeline in terms of call for applications, your proposals, your grant applications. If you have people seek grants from you, and also funding if you have people who seek grants on your end. So to start us off, so for example, you have seen a call for application for a specific grant. So first of all, you're able to register your programs. So these are the various themes that your specific organization handles. So whether it's education, gender, health, WASH, you're able to list all those programs or themes. And you're also able to go to the level where you're able to have sub-themes. So if you have several sub-themes under education, you're able to list those specific sub-themes. So what this means is that you're able to tie each grant to a specific program, a log frame to a program, so that you're able to track, for example, if it's education, how many grants do I have under education and so on. Then you have constituents. So this is where you register the master data of any person that you deal with in the organization. So this could be, for example, a donor, an individual, a household. So able to register them with their relevant details. So the email, the addresses, the country. So from this point, to be able to see what are the contracts you have with them, what are the grant opportunities maybe you have with them, what are the applications. So for example, if you're giving out grants, what are the applications they have? So you're able to have your master list of all the constituents that you deal with. So this means is that each time you have a document, you're able to tie it to a specific constituent, and then you're able to have a good structure of your data. So let's assume, for example, you have a call for application. You have registered the constituents. Let's say, for example, this could be this horizontal global foundation. So you're able to register the opportunity. So I'll have, for example, this opportunity that I pre-filled. So able to have the number. So the number will autofill and keep on increasing. The system has that functionality whereby the numbering is able to automatically increase. So able to have the name of the opportunity, the description. So here on the account is where you link with the constituents that I've just shown you. Then you're able to specify the grant type, whether it's a grant, donation, gift, or membership. You have the currency type. So you're able to have the local currency in USD, or you can indicate whether it's a foreign currency. So if it's a foreign currency, this field will become editable and you're able to pick which currency the call has given. So you have the estimated value, you have the various applicable dates, the close date, letter of intent due date, the application due date. So you're able to track those dates. And you have the stage. So you're able to know what stage that grant opportunity is in, whether you're prospecting, you've submitted your LOI, whether it's under review, and so on. So you have the go or no go decision. So for example, you have this call that has been there, you're applying. So you have an internal process whereby you have a go or no go approval, whereby you're able to send this approval internally. So someone within the approval chain can approve whether to go for it or not to go for it. So you're able to have the decision, the status, whether it's a go, who decided, and what time they made. So if you have a go, you're able to create a proposal. So you're able to create the proposal. So I'll just view the proposal. So here on the proposal, it will pick the details automatically from the grant opportunity. And then you have your checklist. So you're able to create a checklist. So what is the checklist for this specific call? So you have the various documents that will be needed and when you receive them. And you can also assign staff. For example, if you want to go to that level, you can assign a number of staff to handle something specific. And we can also improve it to the level that you even have tasks and you assign someone tasks in the system to do that. Then you also have a section on budgets whereby you're able to indicate what is maybe the budget with a category, whether it's personnel, travel, program, indirect overhead. So able to indicate what is the budget for that specific proposal that you will, how you break it down. So once you're done, you're able to indicate you've submitted it. Once you've done the submission, the status will change to submitted. And then once the process has been done on the other end, you're able to mark whether you have been awarded or it has been declined. So you're able to have those two options, and the system will be able to automatically record the status. So this means that you're able to track your proposals and your grants, how your pipeline is. So if you have one, you're able to create a contract. So you have an opportunity to create a contract directly from the proposal. So under contract, you have a create contract option. You're able to create the contract between you and the donor. So you have an indication of the start and the end date. You can have an amended end date. It allows for amendments whereby you can create an amendment. So it supports a time-based amendment or an amount-based amendment so that you're able to make changes to the budget. Then you have the source, so it specifies where this contract is from, so which specific proposal and which specific grant opportunity. And then you're able to have the contract budget, so it automatically picks from the proposal. So from the contract, you're able to navigate and see the payment schedules. So if you have any payment schedules agreed with the specific donor, you're able to indicate those specific payment schedules. So the person handling finance, for example, if they have a receipt of funds, they're able to tie it to a specific payment schedule so that you're able to know what is the total posted amount. So I know this amount is a bit huge, but you're able to see this was the amount expected for that tranche, and this is what has been received in the system. So you're able to have that visibility. You're also able to have your milestones. So what are the milestones agreed with the donor and the status, so whether it has started or in progress and the due date. So able to have those milestones. Then you're also able to see amendments. So you're able to create an amendment, and then it will ask you whether you want an amount amendment or date amendment. So if you have a date amendment, it will update the amended end date. And if you have an amount amendment, it will load the budget so that you're able to make changes to the budget. And it's also able to track all the amendments you have made. So if you have any amendments, the amendments will automatically be there on the amendments list so that we're able to see what amendments have been done in the past. So if you have two amendments, maybe you have amended the amounts twice, so you're able to see the first budget before amendment, the second budget, so that you're able to track what changes have been made. This is for audit purposes. Then on the program areas, this is where you track which themes have been used in this specific grant. So able to have multiple themes, whether it's WASH, education, and so on. So able to try a grant opportunity with a specific program area. And then you have this section on grant spend, whereby quickly from that grant, you're able to tell which projects have consumed how much you have allocated, how much you have spent, and how much is utilized. So from one window, you're able to have as much information as possible. So the system also supports documents, so able to upload documents, so able to upload files, so it supports PDF, pictures, so able to upload these files. And you can also integrate with SharePoint, so that if you have any attachments, you're able to upload those attachments on this. And this is supported throughout the system. And also for the approvals, it supports email notification, whereby you're able to have the notification for this approval come to your email. You don't have necessarily to log into the system to be notified that you have one. And also it comes with mobile support and tablet support application. So if you're on the move, you can still approve while you're still on the move. So after you have your contract, you can create your log frame. So I have my log frame. So I have the description of the log frame. I'm able to indicate the implementation country. I'm able to indicate the project manager, the starting and the end date. Then I have fund sources. So I'm able to tie which specific contracts am I getting my money from. So you're able to pick the contract from the list of contracts. So this is the contract amount that is there on the contract and how much I want to allocate for this specific project. So once you have that, you have this section on funding, whereby you're able to have your total fund allocation. So this is what I've allocated here. Then you have the total work plan budget. So I'll come to this, and you have the actual consumption. So this is how much has been consumed by the activities up to now. So Within your log frame, you're able to quickly tell if you're overspending or underspending. So you're able to check where you stand. Then you're able to indicate your objectives. So what are the objectives for that specific log frame? You're able to indicate the outcomes and tie them to a specific objective. You're able to have your outputs and you tie them to a specific outcome. And you're able to have your indicators. So you can tie them to either an outcome, an output, or objective. And you can indicate the type, whether it's a percentage or a number. And you can also break down the target. So if you want to break it down per month, you're able to break it down from January maybe to August. You're able to break down that indicator target so that once you do your reporting, you're able to do it well based on the period that you've selected. Then you have your work plans. So you're able to create a work plan for this specific project. So I just have one work plan. I can view the work plan. So under the work plan, I'm able to have the work plan activities. So what activities are being done within the specified period. So able to have your start date and your end date for that specific work plan. And then under that, you're able to have your work plan budget. So if I can just click on this, able to see what is the budget. And then you're able to see the link with finance, because here on the budget, you're able to link which account is being expensed. So here is where you see how programs links with finance, whereby the chart of accounts is available for the person who does the budget, so that each time something is expensed, you know which specific chart of accounts is being expensed. So you're able to have the budgeting for this. So this means is that if someone is doing Impress Taiwan to travel, you're able to, you have a section for travel. So maybe just assume this one, but able to do an impressed against a specific activity with a specific budget. If you're doing a claim, you're able to do it against a specific budget. If you're doing your salary, you're able to do allocate your salary to a specific activity. So if 10% is the finance officer from this project, from that project, so able to allocate your salary to a specific activity in a specific log frame, so that if a donor asks for a report, you're able to give them the specific payslip report that is relevant to them. So once you have that, that is your log frame. You also have disaggregation factors. So if you do your monitoring based on factors, you're able to add all the factors. For example, if you report by location, you're able to add those specific disaggregation factors. So you will see how that comes in later. So that is under the log frame. So under monitoring, so once the project has started and you want to start reporting against your indicators, you have indicator reporting, whereby you're able to do your reports. So able to create a project report, pick the specific log frame and the reporting date. So for example, for this one, I'm reporting maybe at end of July. And you're able to load, so we have load indicators, which allows you to load the indicators from that specific log frame. So this is the planned target, what is the cumulative achievements at July, and what is the reporting quantity, the total achievement quantity that you're reporting for that specific period. And you can also report by disaggregation, whereby if you click, you can report and say, maybe I'm reporting for a specific location. So able to split that out. You can do a direct report of just two without a disaggregation, or you can go to the level where you report one is for the county, one is for this county, or depending on age, whether it's age, gender, so able to do that level of reporting. And then you can indicate on the project activity, which activities are completed, pending or in progress, so able to track which activities are done, which are still ongoing. So that's on monitoring. Then on evaluation, you're able to do project evaluation. So whether it's midway through the project or at the end, so able to indicate which specific log frame is being evaluated, what is the start and end date, what are the methodology of findings, who is evaluating, is it internal or external? And then you have the ratings, so able to rate based on various criteria with various options, whether it's satisfactory or not. So able to have all those ratings. Then you're also able to have the recommendations or things which you're supposed to follow up learning. So able to indicate what are the recommendations, and you can also indicate whether they're in progress, pending, and when they can be closed. So that is on your evaluation and learning. Under accountability, you're able to have complaints and feedback. So you're able to record, for example, I can start with feedback. You're able to tie it to a specific project. You indicate how you collected it, what is the category. You can also indicate whether it's anonymous. So if it's anonymous, you don't have to enter any personal information. You can indicate the date this was received, which program is tied to, and the comments, and also attachments. And then you can also have complaints. So if there's any complaint that you receive from the field, you're able to indicate which category, what is the description of the complaint, and you can forward to a specific employee internally. So if you notify them, it will send them an email with the contents of this complaint so that it can be handled. And then you're able to indicate when it was raised, when do you expect to close it, and the actual closing date, and it will tell you if it was handled within time. And then you're also able to have comments as you're able to handle this complaint so that you're able to track where are we with that specific complaint. So we also have a section on reporting. So on reports, you're able to have two types of reports. You're able to have the static reports that we have. So for example, if it's you want to see what percentage your indicators are at, so you're able to have an indicator report, which is able to show you this is the total target you have, this is the target you have achieved, so that's 28% for that specific indicator. So we are able to have static reports like these ones, which we are able to design to your look and feel. So they are not fixed. We are able to have these reports to reflect what you are able to see or envision. And we also have Power BI, whereby we're able to link with a specific design that you want. So the system supports Power BI, whereby you're able to do your own reporting. I'm able to support you to be able to do reporting. So I think I'll hand it over back to Austin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for that detailed but brief overview. Guys, as you probably have noticed, the system is quite robust. And if we will dive a bit deeper, probably we wouldn't have the time, enough time to do that today. So allow me just, as we still have some available, and I'm sure this is something that you've showcased. Would you just, there's a question on the chat around, a moment. There's a question around one, how do we make a multi-year budget? That is the first question. And then how do we look at budget categorization? So how do we look at budget category breakdown? I don't know if you can just give us a quick answer to those questions before we move forward.
So thank you, Austin. Let me share my screen. So on the log frame, so we have two types of budgets. We have the project specific budget, which I will handle, and then the administrative, which will be looked at the next session. So under the log frame, you're able to have your multi-year budgets under the work plan. So for example, if you have a work plan every year, so able to have work plan like 2026, and then you have work plan 2027, so able to have multiple work plans. And then under each work plan, you're able to indicate the budgets within here. But remember, this is not fixed. We usually sit down with the client and we understand your requirements so that we're able to fit your organization specific needs. If that answers the question.
Yeah, so I think the question came from Faisal. I'll encourage Faisal to basically just reach out to us and we can have a proper in-depth session with you just to understand your environment. I think you left it on charge that you are actually on Dynamics, even though that is also a platform that we support, and we can be able to have that clarification done on a one-to-one session. So I'll quickly move on to, so that is the project. How do we look at our grants? How do we look at our projects? And then we're going to quickly go over now to the back office operations, and Kate will take us through that. So over to you, Kate.
Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible to all and my screen is visible. So as mentioned, I'm going to go through the finance aspect. So this is the same system that my colleague has been able to go through. Only I'm now under the role center of the finance officer. Like we mentioned, Dynamics Business Central is role-based, so the system allows that you can have the different roles customized for individual roles so that finance users are able to have finance activities on their dashboard. Procurement users are able to do the same on their dashboard. For my presentation, I'm going to go through finance and a bit of procurement. You can drop also your questions as we proceed. So on finance, the first item I can go through is on the chart of accounts. This is a standard functionality available on the system where you're able to have your entire chart of accounts created like this. You're able to categorize your accounts based on the type of category. You're able to have account subcategories where you can have as many as you want to create. On this page, you'll be able to see the summary in terms of the balances per each account, and you're also able to drill down further and see the individual transactions that make up these balances. So this is available where you're able to have your balance sheet. You can subcategorize this into your assets, your inventory, your liabilities, your fixed asset accounts. You're able to also have your liabilities and your equity. You're also able to have your income statement on this same page where you're able to have the accounts listed under this. One key feature of Business Central is that given that in your landscape, you're able to handle different kinds of programs or different kind of projects, the system allows that you do not necessarily have to create individual accounts for each program, which would lead you to maybe crowding your chart of accounts. So the system has provided for a very robust setup here called dimensions, where you will be able to have these created in the system in this manner. So if you are, for example, running dimensions on your projects, you're able to create these on the system. Here you will be able to have the different projects indicated as dimension values. That way you're able to tag all your transactions to an individual, for example, the project, and you're therefore able to track each program or each project as an individual entity. This will drill down to the fact that you're able to generate your reports. Any report in the system, you're able to apply that filter and you will be able to generate a report. So if you wanted to have a report trial balance related to one project, then you're able to tag that as you generate your reports, and the system is able to generate for you a report with that filter in place. So the system does allow for as many dimensions, up to 8. You can have as much as 8 dimensions in the system, and this can be varied depending on how you want this to run for your case. As Sam mentioned, the system is also multi currency, meaning it allows for you to be able to have one operating currency, that is maybe your local currency. You're also able to have as many transactional currencies as there are. And the system also makes this easy by allowing you to be able to have updated exchange rate services that will be able to update for you on a time period that you will wish. If you want to have a monthly update, if you wish to have a daily update, then we can be able to link this to an automated service that will automatically update for you the currency exchange rate as of a particular time. This will help in terms of, as you do your transactions, you're able to have select the transaction currency that you're using, and the system will be able to convert that directly to your local currency. So in terms of the general features under the general ledger, we also have the GL budgets. So some has gone through if you're having a project. However, the system also provides that you can have your own administrative budget, maybe for your unrestricted funds that you can be able to upload in the system. So system provides for capability to do this in terms of monthly, if you want this in terms of quarterly basis. You're able to have this, and to update or to make this very easy, the system has been created in a way that you can do this using an Excel template that you're able to generate. So the system allows that you have an export to Excel action on each on the budget, which will export for you a template like this. Here you will be able to fill in the figures, your budget figures. If, for example, you've chosen the monthly planning system, then you're able to do this on a monthly basis, update your amounts on this Excel that is from the system, and then you're able to directly import this. So when you import this, the system is able to add or replace entries depending on that. So it also allows for versioning of your budgets, where you can copy a budget if you have supplementary funds, or you have a change of budget amounts. Then you're able to also do copies and also now amend your current budget. So that is on that. In terms of reports, you're also able to do your comparison, where you can compare in terms of figures at a specific point, how much of the budget that was uploaded into the system has been consumed. So this is a one-click report that you're able to generate. And for the standard reports, you're also able to generate them in the different acceptable formats, which are PDF, Excel, and Word. So that is mainly under this general ledger aspect. I'll go next to the item on receivables. So as the grant opportunities are being sought and are being awarded, you're also, as part of the finance team, able to manage this in the system. In that, one is you'll also be able to have the list of your partners updated in the system. So this can be, this is linked from the grant management, where once an opportunity is awarded, if that partner does not exist on the system, then the system will be able to create them on this list here. This is your donor list, also pairs as the customer list, where you can be able to track things, including the balances for each donor on this card. So here, each individual partner will have an individual card where you're able to have this information related to them. You can see the figures, you can drill down to the specific transactions related to each partner on this. So you will be able to have this information here. So once now you have maybe the expected amounts that are to be granted based on a specific project, the system provides that if you work by an accrual method, you can create this in the system, where you can create an invoice related to that expectation and have this accrual done by posting this document here. So you're able to have this invoice created, you're able to tie this to a specific partner, you're able to tie this to a specific account, you're able to indicate the amount that is expected to be posted in this. If you have the issue of the different currencies, I can show you one where you have, our local currency currently here indicates as USD. However, for example, if you have a partner who grants this in different currencies, for example, I can show you one for Kenya shillings, you will be able to tag that specific currency on the document itself. So with this, the system is going to use the exchange rate like we indicated that is set up on the system, and you're therefore able to see how much of this is converted, or rather you're able to see the amount that is converted from that currency to your local currency here. So the system has that inbuilt capability. Once the funds are received and you want to have recognition of actual revenue in the bank, the system provides that you can create this receipt, still also in the name of the partner. So you're able to have a document, a receipt document like this created. In addition to being able to link this to a partner, you're also able to link this to a contract number, as well as a payment milestone. So based on what my colleague showed in terms of how you set up your payment terms, milestones, you're able to link your document, your receipt to this. So of course, once you have this information, you also get to link this to the open entries for that specific partner. And with that, you will be able to have the system link the two. The system is also quite customized with reports. So you're able to have each transactional report for every document that you generate in the system. You're able to generate a transactional report that can be saved and can be used as reference at any time you want to have this done. So that will now run the process from having the donor card, that is the partner card, where you have this under your donor list or your customers. Then you're also able to do your invoices, where you can accrue any expected income or revenue based on the projects. And also you're able to do your receipts against the same. For every document also, like I mentioned, we have dimensions where you're able to link this in terms of financial, any transaction, you're able to link this to a specific dimension. So this will enable you in terms of generation of financial reports based on a specific program. So with this, I can move to how you handle your payables in terms of payment of operational expenses or project-related expenses. One is that you're able to manage your vendors in a list here on the system. You have your vendor list. So you can have as many vendors as you usually use. The system does not limit in terms of the number of vendors. So with this, you're also able to have to update as much information related to this vendor. You can see you have a specialized card for each vendor, and this also includes attaching of any document you want to attach linked to this specific vendor here. You can be able to have the addresses and contacts so that you're also able to communicate easily through email from the system. We'll see where you're able to trigger some email notifications directly to the vendor. So with this information here, you're also now able to now start transactions with these specific vendors. And for Business Central, introducing a bit of a new avenue here. So Business Central is the ERP allows that everyone who has access to this can be able to carry out any of these activities. But we also understand that you may have staff who, while still working in the system, do not really need to have the ERP access, and they are therefore only required to do the self-service activities. So what we have done is we have been able to link this to our web portal, where your normal staff, even if they've not been assigned a license, can be able to log in and do self-service activities related to procurement or related to finance or any other module that is in place. So for your payables, related to your payables, we have the system created in a way that this can be initiated from a purchase request, where you can have your staff log into the portal and request for purchase of specific items. So here, of course, you'll be able to link this to a plan and link this to the project. They're able to itemize the list of items they're requesting for. They're also able to attach any supporting documents, and workflows have been configured in such a way that the system allows that they can trigger approval from the portal, and this is directly linked to Business Central, where the approvers are able to approve from their dashboard. So with that, I'll just change my role from the finance role center, like I mentioned, to procurement. So this is where they will be able to see the procurement activities. You'll notice now the dashboard differs a bit. You have items related to procurement. So to start with, we have, of course, the procurement plans. The system provides for having a procurement plan in place.
Just a moment, because I think the screen is folding back. So yeah, I think we're all on the same page now. If you can hear us, please just give us a thumbs up that you can see the screen and it's on procurement plans. Okay. All right.
All right, so you have the capability of having a procurement plan in place. Here you can plan for as many items as you plan to procure in a specific financial year. So this is highly or closely mapped to the budget, so that you're able to pull the restrictions and the budget thresholds from the budget in place. So here you can plan for procurement of any item. If you have services, you have goods, you have fixed assets, you're able to have the same. You're also able to link these to as many different projects as you currently have. So these can be a consolidated document with lines related to the different projects. You're able to go to the level of a specific activity or a specific work plan in this case, and further down to a specific item here. So this is what I think you are able to see as Sam was doing this. So you're able to have your procurement done mapped to that work plan that is in place. So here you will be able to see that you can have, you can itemize your procurement plan. You have the different items that are to be procured. You have the estimated cost, the quantities that are required. You're also able to tie these to the specific projects and any other dimensions that you have put in place. So with this in place, then we have the users being able to initiate the procurement process from the requisition. Like I said, this is where now the employee self-service portal, which is a web portal that is linked to your to Business Central, where they are able to have the self-service activities. So one of them being that requisition document that they are able to raise. So here, of course, this they are able to link this to the project details. They are able to indicate the items that plan to be procured under this. So here they'll be able to select from the procurement plan. So this is a sample requisition. You can see you have the general details, and then of course you have the lines where they can indicate the quantity that they are requesting procurement for. Then the system will also, restrict based on the activity budget, so that these budgets are not exceeded from this point. Once you have this, of course, the requisition can be tracked. Like we said, we have the different workflows, so you're able to track the different status of your requisitions once it's pending approval, once it's been approved, and then, of course, once this is processed. So in terms of processing, the system does also support quite a bit of different procurement methods. So for direct procurement, you're able to link this to a specific supplier supplier and have the LPO generated, but the system does also support where you can have your request for quotations. So the system is as flexible as as much as you require it to be. So here you can have your the different procurement methods. So I'll just quickly go through the RFQ process. So with an RFQ, once the procurement method is mapped as RFQ, you'll of course, as the procurement officers, will be in a position to raise this RFQ document in the system. They're able to capture as much information as I'll show you. I'm just opening this. Okay, so we have a requisition like this. So here you have the general details of that requisition, the requisition numbers, the project name, linking this to project names. You have your reference codes. You're also able to have the procurement lines. So you're able to see the items that are to be procured under this and the quantities for the same. Down here, you're also able to map the different documents that you require your bidders to submit. So where you want mandatory submission of documents, you're able to have this as a tab here where you'll be able to set up as many documents as you need. We also have a checklist here for additional criteria that will be used in terms of evaluation and how you'll be able to score your vendors. You're also able to tie in terms of the bid, the process of evaluation, the internal staff that will be involved in the process of maybe evaluation. You're able to have this information selected here. Then in terms of your suppliers, you're able to select which suppliers you want to invite. And once you have invited them, you also have the notification. So the system allows that you can now send direct emails to this team or these suppliers that you're inviting so that they can respond and send back that quotation. So with this system has been provided a capability that once now the quotations have been responded, or rather the suppliers have responded, you're able to do the detailed bid analysis. So in terms of detailed bid analysis, you'll be able to capture information such as when this bid was received, their quotation numbers, whether they provided the mandatory documents that had been indicated. In terms of the checklist, were they responsive or non-responsive? For example, for my case, as I've used, the scoring is by text. So you're able to indicate the vendor score. You're also able to have the vendor price analysis. So here you'll be able to indicate the responses for each bidder. So with this, you're able to do this for your bidders, and then, of course, have the process of award, which is also tied to approvals. So once you have the RFQ has been approved and the recommended bidder has been awarded, you're now able to proceed to generation of your PO. So all this information, you'll be able to track it from this card. So once you create an LPO, then you're able to see that LPO. You can access, or rather you can view the LPO from that document. So I'll just so I'll just move now to the order processing, where you can see that LPO that has been generated. So here, of course, you'll be able to see information related to the quotation, the details of that quotation, information that will populate under this. You also have the lines which will update in terms of the cost based on their response. For procurement activities, the system has additional functionalities where you can, once you have this document and it is fully approved, then you're able to also send emails, direct email notifications from this page where you will be able to just draft an email notification here and notify the supplier that they can now proceed to delivery of the items as per these document here. So you have the send by email activities that allows you to draft your emails and copy, add any other individuals that you would like to add onto your message, indicate your message here, and they are going to also be able to receive the signed purchase order as an attachment on the through that email here. So they are able to get that. In terms of once this process and delivery is done, the system allows that you, of course, be able to do your receiving, whether in part or full receipt, you're able to have this. And the system will be able to generate for you the receipts, that is the GRNs, for the items that have been received under this. So you can have the automatic, you can see the system will automatically generate this, and of course, update the necessary accounts on inventory selected. In terms of linking this to your projects, you're also able to do this under here, where you have the dimensions tab, where you can link these to the different dimensions that you have you had set up. So that would run the process from all the way from initiating of procurement, from a procurement plan to having an order where you're able to receive, and from there, finance is also able to do the invoicing from the same document. So that will remove the disconnect maybe between your departments, where you can now have the finance department being able to utilize the same document to do the invoicing part. So this will link the three your documents all together in the system. So for finance, I'll now go back to the role center for finance, where you can now see the final process under payables. You're able to have the payment vouchers document here. So this is a document that you're able to create as a finance department. They are able to have or they're able to link this to the invoices that were created for that specific vendor, and you're also able to capture the information such as the bank that will be used to pay this specific or clear this specific payment. You're able to see the information on what amounts are being done. The system also caters in terms of if you have items to do with withholding of any of taxes, you're able to have this capability on this specific document. That is your payment voucher. Of course, like I said, all these documents are tied to your workflows. So you're able to track also the status of the document all the way from a draft stage to a document that is pending approval. Once it's approved, and finally, once this is approved and posted, you're able to track the same there. So that will now be on your payables. One other item on employees, here you're able to, like Sam had mentioned, where you have your project-related interest being raised by the staff members. So this has been catered for also on the portal, where you can have your advance or your interest requisitions being raised by each individual team member. And here they are able to tie this to a specific program. Like you can see, they're able to indicate this, they're able to indicate travel information, they're able to indicate things like the destination. They are also able to indicate the expense type, so you can have a breakdown of as many as this. They're also able to link this to the project and the project activities, things like the departments. They're also able to have the daily expense, the number of days for the system to have the total amount of this. And of course, they'll be able to upload the documents. So once they do this, they have the send for approval. On approval, this is now available for the finance department to see this under the documents that have been approved, like the approved interest documents here. So they'll be able to come in and key in the information such as the payment details. However, just to notice, you'll see that on the lines here, you're able to, even as a finance user, you're able to see the linkage from the project to the task, the specific line, which is in this case, like the output. You're also able to see how much was budgeted under that and how much has been consumed under that. You're also able to track information on the rates, and all this information is visible here, as well as the documents that have been uploaded. So this is posted, of course, to have the effect on this. And for it to be visible as a project expense, they'll of course be able to have the surrenders done. So they're able to create a surrender also from the employee self-service portal, where they are now able to account for how much of the allocated amount they actually spent. So they are able to indicate the actual spent amounts, they're able to give comments, and these can now be also supported by the documents and sent for approval. On approval of the Impress surrenders, then the system is able to have these visible from the project side, or from the project side, as an incurred expense that has been incurred that specific project. So the system will post this project expense at this stage because we have the link done here. In addition to that, we also have capability to have the claims. So these are additional, these are claims that can be raised by the employees just to claim for any other expense. And they are able also to link these to the projects that they incurred the expense for, and tie it also to our project information here, where they can indicate this was a project expense that is related to this specific activity here. So the same applies to the fact that they can be able to have as many lines as possible in this document, so they can raise these based on all the expenditure. The final item I'll handle on finance is on fixed asset management. The system provides for fixed assets management here. You have your fixed asset list. You're able to maintain a log of all your assets, individual per item. So here you can have as many fixed assets also as required or as you have. You're also able to link this to categories, reporting categories, locations. You're able to manage items with depreciation and the dates and the rates of depreciation. You're also able to track things like the current book value, and separately, you're also able to see the acquisition cost. So any transaction done on the fixed asset sub module is directly reflected on your ledger as well as on the fixed asset card. So with this, you will be able to have this depreciation also run automatically, where you can indicate, you can have, the system provides for this functionality. You're able to indicate the depreciation as you want to post it, and the system will be able to generate for you the journals related to the same. So your role here will just be to verify on the amounts and add any other information here, and you're able to post your depreciation. In terms of fixed asset reporting, you of course have your various reports. I had generated this. So you have your report like this, where you can specify the columns that you'd like to see in your report, and you're able to have a detailed report like this that will just show you the summary of your assets, the various classes of your assets, the information such as the acquisition date, the last depreciation date. You have your acquisition cost, your depreciation, and your current book value. And since the system, the fixed asset module is linked to your general ledger, you're able to have these balances automatically match on the same as your chart of accounts. So you can track the same from here. On bank accounts, the system allows for management of as many bank accounts as you have. Here, you're able to specify the currency of operation for that bank account so that the system can handle the exchange rates and posting of any losses or gains as you do your transactions. You're able to have these done on this. So you can see you're able to link the bank to its individual currency. In terms of other bank account processes, you have your reconciliation. The system allows for bank reconciliation like this, where even with the help of Copilot, you can be able to manage your reconciliation process in an easier way, where we can have the system being able to do your matches for you. If, for example, you import your bank statement on this side, then the system will be able to reconcile for you. You can use Copilot here, or you can do your manual matching. So the system allows that you can do this. So the system checks this, indicates the percentage of matching items. If I click on that, the system, you can see, will be able to reconcile this and indicate maybe the only pending item is a bank charges fees that needs to be posted on your cash book for your reconciliation to be fully matched. Once you have your recon, you'll of course be able to track the statements from the bank account card, and you can be able to track which the last statement that have been done or reconciliation has been done up to what period. In terms of financial reports, the last item here is on financial reports. Here you have, as you can configure as many reports as you would like. In terms of if you want to have your cash flow statements, your balance sheet, your position, your performance, you're able to configure these reports where the system provides for you to be able to have definitions generated. With this, you will be able to print your report. And like I said, for standard reports, you're able to have this in any format. You can do your PDF, your Excel, your Word reports, and you're able to generate this at any point and have this. So that is just some of the reports that we have, but the system is quite customizable and can accommodate as many reports. With that, I'll just hand it back to Austin.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kate. And thank you also to our audience. I know we are out of time, but allow us to just wrap up the session. So we managed to see two critical areas in or what some of the organizations, or three critical areas where some of the organizations that you guys represent here face. So we've managed to see the grants, managed to see the donors, the programs. Allow me to share my screen. So we managed to see very critical areas in your organizations where some of these challenges that we raised during the start of the session. Hope you can see my screen. So we managed to see how some of these processes flow. From funding, how do we manage our donors? How do we keep track of these grants? Then how, as it comes into the organization, when Sam was presenting, we looked at the programs, how do we manage our programs, the compliances and the reporting around that as well. And then, of course, Kate took us through some of the back end or the back office operations in finance, in procurement, how some of these services can be extended to to the end users or the users that don't really need access into the ERP. And what essentially the message essentially we are trying to pass here is we need to have one source of truth, and we can only achieve that by eliminating all the silos. I've seen there are some from the polls that we raised at the start of the session. There are quite a number of guys that are running on separate solutions. Quite a number of guys that are still running some of these key processes on Excel. So the message we are trying to pass here is Dynamics 365 enables you guys to have a single source of truth. You get the real-time visibility around the key areas of the organization. We just touched on the key areas during the sessions. We are also able to look at how do we execute our programs, and then of course how we look at the reporting and the insights. So as standard within the platforms, we have the standard reporting functionalities we've tried to point out during the session. Of course, there's organizations that require a bit more in terms of insights. So they will want some sort of dashboards going, they'll want some sort of Power BI insights going. So that is something that we can also develop. We have done it several times for several of our customers using Power BI. So let's have a conversations around some of these things that perhaps you would like to inquire. Of course, you like to see how it fits in your organization, and then we can move forward from there. So that is essentially the message we were trying to pass across. I hope the same has activated something in your organization, in your minds, in some of these conversations that you have internally within the organizations. And right now, I'd just like to invite one of our customers to basically share a message. What has been the experience? Is that a hands up from? I see a hands up. Okay. So just a moment. If it's a hands up, allow me to just quickly give you the microphone. Just a moment. Okay, go ahead, please. Adeson.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much. And thank you for the session so far. Please, is there a version of this Dynamics 365 that allows one to have more than one business account? So by that, I mean, as if you're a consultant, you can maintain different accounts for different businesses. Is that allowed?
So to answer your question technically, yes. So the system allows for multiple entities.
Businesses. Okay, yes.
Yes. So you can set up multiple entities within the same tenant. If it's a consultancy that you're having, so you manage some of these services for various organizations, let's have a conversation of how the tool will enable you to do that. But from a technical perspective, the answer is yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll connect on this. Thank you.
Thank you. So I've dropped some emails on chat. There's some other platforms that you use to register. Please, whatever works for you, reach out to us as soon as you can. We can have those discussions further.
Yes, I've noted the emails shared. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So without further ado, I would like to invite one of our customers to basically say something about what were their challenges, what has been their journey, what Dynamics came in and solved some of the challenges that Dynamics came and addressed in the organization. So over to you, Nyebu. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I know we are past time, so allow me 10 to 15 minutes to go through the journey with my Microsoft 365 FNO and working with Brightpoint Infotech. My name is Nyevu Karisa, and I am the Enterprise Systems and Digital Transformation Project Manager at Living Goods. We as Living Goods will take you through the real experience for Microsoft 365 FNO and not the polished version. That you might read on case studies, but it's the actual journey that we've been through working with Dynamics and Brightpoint as well. The wins, we'll talk about the wins, the hard moments, and what we've learned along the way. And the key message I want you to leave with you today is this, that digital transformation does not end at go live, right? That is where the real work begins after go live. And I hope by the end of this session, whether you're just starting with your journey with this 365, or you're deep in it, or you want to take something in a practical way, it's your moment as well as I go through this journey. So I'll start with a brief overview of who we are as Living Goods and what we do, and then move into the 365 environment, what modules we have. I'll be honest as possible about the challenges we faced. And before we got into working with Brightpoint, we at Living Goods, we are a global health nonprofit with a mission to save lives at scale. And we do that by supporting digitally enabled community health workers. These are the people who go door to door, delivering healthcare to families in their communities. Our vision is a world where every family can easily access healthcare that they need to survive and thrive. And we currently operate in 3 countries, Kenya, Uganda, and Burkina Faso. And the reason for our digital infrastructure matters so much is that the work we do is complex, and we are managing supply chains for health commodities, tracking thousands of community health workers, and managing grants from international donors, and also running operations across multiple countries with different regulatory environments. And this is one of the complex things that why we run the ERP. I had my business technical lead for the enterprise systems who was on the call, but he had to drop off at 4 o'clock. We were hoping we were ending by 4, but he had to take care of other matters that are ERP related. So he had to take care of that for the stakeholders that we have. So I'll just go through in a high level the modules that we have at Living Goods. So we have finance that covers our general ledger, budgeting and donor grant tracking, and also financial reporting. We also have the procurement module that handles vendor management, purchase orders, and approval workflows. We have human resources module that covers employee records, leave management, and employee exit workflows across our 3 countries. We have supply chain that covers inventory management, warehouse operation, and healthcare commodity distribution. And also lastly, but not least, is CRM and business development that supports our donor and partner relationship management and business development activities. This is a significant footprint for our nonprofit in our size. And the scope of this implementation was not small. It sounds small, but it was not small. And that the context matters when we talk about what happens after go live. So we went live with D365 prior to our engagement with Brightpoint in September 2024. We engaged Brightpoint as a support and optimization partner. That was our issue in the resolution phase. From there, we moved into enhancements and improving configuration and the processes based on what we learned in production. And now we are at what we call the stabilization and optimization phase, which is where we're going forward with from now on, this year, next year, but still also resolving issues that are raised and enhancements requests in some of our modules. So The challenges after go lives prior to our partner. We had Dynamics 365 for more than before 2024, but we had some issues going along with the vendors or the partners we selected. In finance, we had reconciliation gaps and reporting inconsistency. Budget tracking was not working the way our teams needed it, and which created real problems given our donor accountability requirements. In procurement, the approval workflows bottlenecks were significant, and processes that should have been straightforward were taking too long, and the vendors were feeling the impact. In human resources, leave management rules were not correctly configured for each of the countries' context. And in supply chain, we had inventory discrepancies and warehouse process alignment gaps that affected our ability to track health commodities distribution accurately. Now, these were catastrophic failures, but together, with Brightpoint, we created a system that was not delivering the values it should have been and tried to correct all that stuff. So beyond the module-specific issues, we also had challenges that cut across a whole organization. User adoption was difficult. People have been using their old ways, which is something that we see with users, using their old ways of working for years, and transitioning to D365 workflows required not just training, but genuine behavioral changes. The training we delivered at Go Live did not fully prepare users for the complexity they encountered in real operations. Change management, also the organizational side of transformation, moved faster than our people were really ready for. And our standard D365 reports did not match our donor reporting templates or our internal management needs. And at a multi-country dimension added another level of complexity because the regularity and operational context in Kenya, Uganda, and Burkina Faso is not the same. We all understand. Somebody asked about working in different banks or different countries and entities. That happens as well. Finally, we simply did not have enough internal D365 expertise to resolve issues at the pace that we were coming in. That's why in September 2024, we made the decision to bring Brightpoint Infotech on board as a support and optimization partner. And I want to be clear about why, because I think it's a decision in other organizations that might be facing. We needed a specialized depth that we did not have internally at a scale we needed it. And we needed issues resolved faster than our team could manage alone. And we needed to reduce risk of our financial reporting and operational continuity. And also we needed to free our internal team to focus on change management and user adoption rather than firefighting. So engaging a support partner was not an admission of failure, but it was a strategic decision, and it changed the trajectory of our D365 system and journey. Once Brightpoint Infotech was engaged, we moved through a structured approach of resolving issues and then enhancing the system. In finance, we corrected reconciliation workflow, streamlined the period end close processes, and aligned budget tracking on our donor requirements. In procurement, we reconfigured approval hierarchies, standardized the vendor onboarding processes, and improved our stabilization and employee exit workflow. In procurement, we reconfigured approval hierarchies, standardized the vendor onboarding process, and improved purchase order to invoice matching. In HR, we corrected leave management rules on the country-by-country basis and validated employee data integrity and stabilized employee exit workflows. In supply chain, we aligned the inventory management processes and redesigned the warehouse workflows and cleaned item master data. And in CRM and business development, we improved donor pipeline and partner management processes and reporting to enable data-driven decision-making. And now we are working deeply into making the executive reporting even better for our stakeholders and also our donors in reporting. So what I want to emphasize is that these were not just technical fixes. Each one of these improvements translated directly into time saved, risk reduced, or information that our teams could not trust. Reporting is where we value the ERP system. I think one of Catherine and the other person who presented, sorry, I forget your name, did a lot of the donor reporting and what the finance part can be doing as reporting. So we planned to customize financial reporting and align to donor templates as our grants reporting becomes faster and more accurate. And also we shall create real-time budget reviews versus actual dashboards of finances and program teams. So we could monitor and what we spend without waiting for month end. So those are the enhancements that we are going through as we are still engaging Brightpoint and also utilizing the D365 FNO and what it has to offer. We're also going into a stabilization and optimization phase. That's where we feel functionality from where we are in the late 2024. The difference between this phase and the earlier phases is that we are now proactively rather than being reactive. We run regular system checks to check issues before they impact operations. We are actively turning the D365 performance as our data and volume grows, and we are reducing manual steps through process automation in finance and supply chain. And stabilization is the destination that we're going to, and it is a discipline and it requires ongoing investments. The lessons learned, let me share with you 6 things that I wish I had known from the start. Like, first, go live is not the end. Budget and plan for at least 12 to 13 months or post go live support, where Brightpoint has been with us, working all the way through with us. And the real system learning happens in production, not in testing. Secondly, invest in change management early. Technical deployment without organizational readiness leads to adoption failure. We learned this the hard way. Thirdly, know when to get help. Recognize that you need specialist support is a strength, not a weakness. And the sooner you act on that recognition, the better. That's why we sought out Brightpoint, and now we've been working together very smoothly. Fourthly, prioritize ruthlessness. Not all issues are equal. A structured triage approach stops you from being paralyzed by the volume of things that need fixing. Fifth, data quality is everyone's job. Garbage in gives garbage out. Data governance has to be embedded in your workflows from the beginning and not retrofitted later. Finally, document everything, your user stories, your configuration decisions through FDDs, workarounds, process changes, release notes. It is not just documentation. It will actually cost you when you staff turnover or issues resurface if you don't have documentation. If you are a nonprofit starting your journey with D365 FNO or the business system, or if you're in the thick of it and are struggling, here's what I want you to tell you is plan for a post-go live phase, include stabilization budget and resources in your original business case. And it will feel uncomfortable to acknowledge that cost up front, but it is far less painful than scrambling for it after go live. Involve your end users from the start. Design processes with your people you'll use them, and it will help you in user adoption. Do not underestimate training. One-time training is not enough, and continuous learning has to be built within your operating system. And Brightpoint supports us in the training processes, and they're very good and patient with us. Get your data right early and choose your partner who understands nonprofit context, just like the D365 features that we saw today. The two are very different for non-profit organization and other organization, and Brightpoint is well equipped to support you in that. I want to close with this message that I opened with, because I think it's the most important thing I can leave you with today. Digital transformation is an ongoing journey and extends beyond implementation. If you take nothing else from today, take that. Your go live data is not the finish line. It is the starting line of the real work of embedding digital systems like D365 into your way of organizational operations, learning, and growing. Living good, we're still on the journey of stabilization with Brightpoint for the system that we have, but we are at a better position from when we started by the partnership that we engaged with Brightpoint. And we're still growing and we'll still be better, and so will you as you engage in the system and also with the partner that is here today with you. I'll hand it back to Austin, and thank you very much. And if you have any questions, we can ask at the end of the session. Back to you.
Thank you, Nyevu. Really appreciate the reference. Just as an addition to that, as Nyevu was speaking, I kept remembering a particular question that came in earlier in the session. It was a question around, you already have Dynamics 365 finance and operations. How can we enhance this solution? How can we look at grant management, donor management, project management? So I think, Nyevu, do you want just to comment on that? Because what I wanted to say before you come in was, yes, so we've showcased Dynamics 365 Business Central. However, we have the capability to support, enhance, and implement both solutions or both platforms from Microsoft. So, Nyevu, I don't know if you have anything to add on that, or?
You answered it really well, Austin. We as an organization chose to have the Dynamics 365 F&O, and we are picking and choosing what works best with us as an organization. So the different modules can be enabled and suited and customized and configured to what your needs are for your organization. So we have the finance module, we have the procurement, we have human resources just for leave management, because we outsource for the payroll part, but that's what we're using it for. So you can optimize it towards what your needs for your organization are for the F&O part.
Exactly. So the message here is really the flexibility. Microsoft gives us the flexibility. Microsoft gives us the ability to meet with you at your point of need. If you've started an implementation, or if you're already running on Dynamics, and perhaps you like to look at what other things can this tool offer us? What are some of the enhancements that perhaps we can get out of the investment that we've already done? Please give us a call, and we'll be happy to have that discussion with you. So thank you so much, Nyevu. I really appreciate your time, first of all, and your kind words, your reference. Yes, so thank you so much. Right.
Thank you. And just to acknowledge, in the room, I have my senior manager as well, David Karaoke, who can attest or can say a word or two, maybe, if able.
Yeah.
If not, you can proceed. Thank you so much for having us, though.
Okay. I was actually waiting for, I don't know if David can hear us.
It's all right. You can proceed. We don't want to keep people waiting for long. Yeah.
Sure. I see David left a comment on the chat. So thank you, Nyevu. Thank you, David, for joining us and for the kind words. So I think we've had the message. What remains is a small section on how do we get started. Of course, there is an element where we cannot run away from, which is the costings. And what Microsoft has done for non-profits is essentially you have these packages, you have these grants, discounts that are available to you as a non-profit, of course, subject to eligibility checks. But just as an overview, you have some grants according to you from Microsoft directly. Once you register, you can be able to access some of these grants. Some of them come in the form of Azure Cloud credits. So depending on what you qualify for, you can get some Azure services for free, so long as you qualify. And then, of course, the licensing discounts. At this point, this is something that we encourage most of the guys that we have conversations with to check in with your partner. If you have an existing partner, or if you want us to check in with you to just confirm what sort of discounts you qualify for, what sort of discounts you are currently receiving from your current partner. Microsoft, from a ballpark figure, Microsoft offers up to 60% licensing discounts on the Dynamics platforms. So that is something that perhaps might go into consideration if a solution change is something on your mind. 60% will really go a long way in terms of the journey that you guys are on. So let's have a discussion around how some of these, you can access some of these discounts. Of course, I've mentioned about eligibility. Let us take you through what is required. There's a portal you need to register for the eligibility checks to be done, but that is as straightforward as it comes. And then, of course, we have opportunities that Microsoft is basically giving non-profits in terms of some offers. You get some packages completely free, like the business basic email licensing package, and much more. So let's have a conversation around this, see where you can get the savings, where you can get the grants from. So that's it. I will invite, perhaps, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns. I know we are way out of time, but if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please drop us a chat, drop us an email. I've left our emails on the chat, so please reach out to us, and we'll be happy to have this conversation with you. I believe that marks the end of our presentation. I'm grateful, and I'm appreciative of the time you guys have accorded unto us to take you through what Dynamics can be able to do. We are available here to talk to you, and yeah, so thank you again, and have a good day or good evening for the guys in East Africa. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you. Just as a comment, as we are ending the session, we will be sharing the recording, the presentations. Please reach out to us in case you require any clarifications or any additional information on either of the sharings that we will be doing. Thank you.